Yeah. Yeah. I see. Okay, I'll take care of it.
Yes, Chief?
Smith, I have a job for you.
Yes, Chief.
I have an aunt,
Yes, Chief.
Matilda. You know her.
Yes, Chief.
I want you to keep an eye on her.
Must I, Chief?
Yes, Smith, you must.
What's she been up to?
Well, I'm not quite sure. This is what I want you to do. Go to that address. Now, when you get there, Smith, are you listening to me?
Aunt Matilda.
The Magic Boomerang.
The ancient legend of the Dreamtime people tells of a magic boomerang. When this strange boomerang flies in the sky, all time will stand still. Whoever has this boomerang has a great power.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Miss Matilda. I didn't realize.
Of course it's me, Mrs. Mullins. You're my first customer. Now you come and sit down and tell me all about it.
I didn't expect to find you here.
Well, here I am, dear. Chief Investigator of Matilda's Private Detective Service.
Chief Investigator?
Chief and only.
Well,
Now, dear, what is your problem?
I'm from the Society for the Preservation of Historic Buildings, you know.
Yes, I know.
Well, if you remember, about 5 years ago we had a big fundraising drive.
Yes, I remember that very well. I worked on it myself. I was running a collection service at the time, as I recall.
Oh, yes, so you were. Well, the drive was very successful. Well, at least it was in promises. But there were quite a few who never sent their money in.
No.
Yes. And the biggest offender was a Mr. Waltz. Do you remember him?
Of course I remember him. He promised me £300. I got his promise myself.
Well, he didn't pay, and we couldn't find him to remind him. One of our members has just come back from a place called Gunniganoo, and she's positive she saw him there.
And you want me to go after him?
Well,
I'll get that money by hook or by crook. Have you got any names of any more offenders? Will you give me the airport, please?
Tom? Don't know. He's a big businessman. He's had an office here for a few months. Dad knows him. Well, what does he do? Don't know that either. Are you coming to the park now, or do you have to go home?
I'll have to ring up Mum first. If she says yes, I'll meet you there.
Righto, bye.
Hello, Mum. Wombat here. Do you mind if I don't come home for a while? Well, I'm going to meet Tom in the park. I won't be late. Constable Blake's going to show us some unarmed combat. Of course, I'll be careful. No, I won't get hurt. Anyhow, how's...
Give me that.
Get me Mr. Binks, will you? It's Mr. Waltz, your managing director. Tell him to keep an eye out for the terror and let me know when the coast is clear. Get him. What? Doesn't matter.
How such nice little boys can grow into such horrid men, I'll never know. What's your name, dear?
Wombat.
Well, Wombat, we've done a good day's work, haven't we? Shall we go and have some luncheon? Oh, don't worry about him. He knows what's coming to him.
And then he ran out of the shop, with the old lady after him.
That's a funny way for a big businessman to behave.
And I think it's pretty funny the way the old lady ran after him, too. Tom, there she is.
Well, if it isn't the little boy I saw in the shop. What's your name, little boy?
A Wombat, and this is Tom.
How do you do? My name's Matilda, but you can call me Aunt Matilda. Oh, dear, what a day.
I'm sure it must have been Aunt Matilda.
Yes, you must have found it very extraordinary to see a lady running after a gentleman.
Not really. I was just wondering if you caught him.
Well, no, not yet, but I will. Only next time Mr. Waltz will come to me.
What are you after him for, Aunt Matilda?
Well, let's say he owes me some money.
And he won't pay up.
No, not yet, but he will. He will. In the meantime, I could use some help very, very much right now.
Oh, could I help you then?
Oh, yes, and you too, Tom. I'll make you special assistance.
I'd love to, Aunt Matilda, but I'm afraid I can't. I've got to pick up some tractor parts for Dad. Can I meet you later?
Yes, very well. In the meantime, Special Assistant Wombat, about done. Quick march.
Well, goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Wombat.
Where to now, Aunt Matilda?
To my temporary headquarters. Dear, how silly of me. Wombat, this is Mr. Smith, a dear friend of mine. Oh, we've had a very exhausting day, but quite a satisfactory one.
Satisfactory, Miss Matilda?
Oh, this is Mr. Smith, Wombat, a very dear friend of mine. Such a comfort. I don't know what I'd do without him. Now, look, you make yourself at home, Wombat. Mr. Smith will look after you. I won't be a minute. Dear Mr. Smith.
Cup of tea, Wombat?
Yes, please.
So you've met Aunt Matilda, eh?
Yes, and I like her.
Not everybody feels that way. And speaking of that, did you meet anyone else when you were out?
Well, a man, he was trying to phone his office.
Mr. Waltz. She'll get herself into trouble over him one day.
Trouble?
Yes. Obtaining money by false pretenses. A confidence trick.
Aunt Matilda?
Yes, awful, isn't it? Yes, and she has a heart of gold. A heart of gold.
But
No, if it was gold, she'd give it away.
But she wouldn't trick anybody. She couldn't.
Facts are facts. She's been up to something. She's been up to something for a long time.
I feel awful.
You feel awful. What about me? I was the detective sent to look after her. I was shadowing her one day, you see, and she turned round to me and said, "Would you be so kind as to help me?" I've been helping her ever since. I'll lose my job one day, I will.
A detective.
Oh, how sweet, Mr. Smith. Tea.
And I have some lovely fruitcake to go with it afterwards.
Oh, dear, Mr. Smith. I don't understand how you can pay for it all. Tea, Mr. Waltz?
You won't catch me, or you may have caught up with me, but I won't pay. Do you understand, Matilda? I won't pay. Oh, you can't beat me because I'm cleverer than you are. Who's our criminal friend here?
Temper, Mr. Smith. Temper and fruitcake and tea don't mix, you know.
Remember what I've just said.
1 lump or 2, Mr. Waltz.
You can't trick me because I'm awake to it. Let me give you a word of warning. If you're not very careful, I shall have you arrested. Do you understand that? I will not be beaten by a woman. I trust you understand that. All of you. Good day to you.
He always did have a nasty streak in him.
He's dangerous.
No, really. It's money. Money does some unfortunate things to us, those that have it.
Miss Matilda, I don't know what you're up to, but you don't cross swords with a man like Mr. Waltz. He's clever and ruthless.
What an idea. Cross swords indeed.
Miss Matilda, it isn't blackmail.
What an extraordinary idea. He owes me some money and I intend to get it back, that's all.
By a trick.
I intend that he shall repay me.
If you can't prove that he owes it to you, then getting it back by a trick could get you into plenty of trouble.
You're a sweet, true friend, Mr. Smith. But there are some things that must be done.
Arrest her?
Well, I've got to make enough money to take care of her. And to do that, I have to do my job. And to do my job, I should arrest her.
But she hasn't done anything wrong. Not really.
She's up to something. And a good detective prevents crime. He doesn't wait for it to happen.
If you ask me, it's Mr. Waltz who's up to something.
Pro and con, pro and con. But a policeman arrests anybody who breaks the law.
But you like her.
That's got nothing to do with it.
Then why do you look after her?
Well, somebody has to do it.
You should be keeping her in sight. You are a policeman.
Miss Matilda? Matilda? Hey, she's given me the slip.
Something's happened to her.
Or to Mr. Waltz.
Anyhow, he threatened her.
We'll have to find her. Do you know this town?
Well, I live here.
Right, now you go down the main street and around by the bank. I'll go the other way and we'll meet halfway.
Something's happened to her. I just know it has.
Nothing terrible ever happens to Miss Matilda. It's what happens to other people that worries me. Come on.
I want you to stand guard over the door, do you understand? Don't let anybody in, especially not that woman. I will not be hounded by her. She already hounded me into promising the money in the first place. I won't be beaten by a woman. Well, you have your orders. You let anybody in and it's your job. Now get out! I'd willingly pay the money if I could have her put away for a long, long time.
Ooh, just a minute. Slow down. Now, I've been looking for you. Now, how's the special assistant?
Well, Tom, have you seen Aunt Matilda?
Not since lunchtime. Why?
Well, we've lost her.
Who's lost her?
We have. Well, Detective Smith and I.
Detective Smith?
Well, he's sort of looking after her. Look, if you see her, tell me. All right, Tom?
Of course, but Wombat!
I want a word with you, officer.
Well, what can we do for you, madam?
There is something that I feel that you should know.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Well, I want to report...
Yes, I've got that description in the book here. I'll give it to you. Age 21.
Have you seen Aunt Matilda?
Just a minute. Age 21, that's right.
Aunt Matilda! Aunt Matilda! We've been looking for you everywhere. Where were you?
I knew you'd come.
Yes, but Mr. Smith went one way, and I went the other way. We thought we'd never find you. What are you doing in here?
I'm afraid the world has got a little small for me, that's all.
You've been arrested? But how could they?
With a heavy hand and a strong arm, so I believe.
Oh, we'll get you out. Oh, Mr. Smith will get you out. Isn't there something you can pay that gets you out?
It's bail. You pay them some money so that they can be sure that you'll be back for the trial if they let you out until then.
It's bail, that's right. How much is it?
If I only had that £300 that Mr. Waltz owes me.
£300?
Yes.
£300? Maybe I could ask him if he could loan it to me. You said he had a kind heart. That's what I'll do. Now, don't worry. We'll be back right away. Now, wait here. I'll be back. Actually, Aunt Matilda's in jail, and I've got to see Mr. Waltz for her.
Well, what's stopping you?
Mr. Waltz's chauffeur. Every time I try and get past him, he blocks me off. Tom. Do you think you could use the boomerang to get me out of this?
Oh, come on, Wombat. It's not that important, is it?
I promise it is, Tom. Look, if I don't get the bail off Mr. Waltz, then Aunt Matilda will have to stay in jail.
All right. Now, when I give the signal, you run for it, and don't stop for anything, all right?
All right, Tom.
Come on, let's go.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Dane.
Mr. Waltz, she's been arrested. You've got to do something about it.
Young man, don't come busting into my office like... Just a moment. Don't come busting into my office like that. Sit down. I shall call you back, Mr. Dane. Now, who's been arrested?
She has. Aunt Matilda. There's a £300 bail.
So, they finally caught up with her, eh?
No, she's in jail. And she's locked up right now.
She got what she deserved at last. That'll teach her to cross swords with me. And this money I'm supposed to owe her, you know she doesn't have any proof. And when she gets into trouble, she comes running to me for assistance. As you can see, I'm extremely busy. Suppose you drop around sometime during the week. And this time, make an appointment.
Please, Mr. Waltz.
All right, young man. We'll discuss the situation right now. £300 bail. I could make a bargain with her. This is my opportunity. If she pays her own bail, and then she doesn't or can't turn up in court, she loses it. Don't look so worried, young man. After all, what good is £300 if one is in jail anyway? I shall accede to your wish. My hat. Thank you.
You're fired.
Well, Matilda, so you finally got what you deserved, eh?
Yes. Leave her alone. She hasn't harmed anyone.
Oh, but she may have, my boy. She may very well have. £300, wasn't it?
Yes.
Here we are. Just before this pays for your temporary release, remember, no more hounding me. Do you understand that? And this is in full payment of the debt I owe you.
Oh, you're so kind to a poor lonely old lady.
Mr. Smith and I'll look after you.
Good, that's settled then. Meanwhile, I'll say goodbye to you, Matilda, until we meet again after you're released from prison.
Come along. 5, 10, 15, 20.
Third, the fourth.
80, 85, 90.
Miss Matilda.
Oh, hello, Mr. Smith.
What have you got there?
110. Money. 150.
Where have you been? We've been looking for you everywhere.
She's been arrested.
Arrested? What for?
Oh, I don't know.
Why isn't she locked up, and what's all that money?
Oh, 175. Mr. Waltz was so kind, he came in here and gave me the £300 that he owes me. He insisted on me taking it. 175.
What?
Oh, Mr. Waltz paid her bail.
Nonsense. He simply paid me back my debt in full.
Mr. Waltz paid you back?
Well, he seemed to think that I'd been arrested. I don't know where he got the idea.
And you haven't been arrested?
No. I simply came in here to report the loss of a dog.
But you haven't got a dog.
That's the one I lost. And after I'd reported it, I felt a little tired. And I asked this charming officer if there was somewhere I could rest. And he showed me into that room.
You tricked him.
Certainly not. When I was resting there, Waltz came in and paid me the debt he owed me. Of course, Wombat did help a little. There you are, my dear Mrs. Mullins, all present and correct.
Oh, how on earth did you do it, Miss Matilda?
Nothing to it, my dear. Matilda always gets her man one way or another.
Now, about the payment.
No. There's no charge. After all, that money was owing to me, and it's only right that I should get it back. Besides...
Besides what?
Well, since I've had so much success in tracking down Mr. Waltz, I think I'll go in for crocodile hunting.
Oh!